In the month of September 2020, I was scrolling through my YouTube recommended box. Having watched pretty much all of my usual channels, bored in lockdown, I stumbled upon a strange looking video. The Caretaker, Everywhere at the End of Time, stages 1 to 6. Now if you're new to YouTube, usually thumbnails will look like this. So seeing a thumbnail and title with such simplicity caught my attention, and I can tell you now, I had no idea what I was in for. Everywhere at the End of Time is a 6.5 hour long album depicting the stages the brain goes through with the terrifying disease dementia. It was created by a musician called Leyland Kirby, or as he goes by online, the Caretaker. Of course, with a 6.5 hour long video of just music, I wasn't initially inclined to listen to it all. So instead, I went to different videos on YouTube talking about it and looked at articles online. However, pretty much everywhere I went encouraged me to listen to it for myself. But with my short attention span, I wasn't sure it was going to be the best idea. Time passed by, but eventually I decided to do it. I got 2 friends of mine to join me, and I decided I would listen to the whole album live on YouTube. As I mentioned, my attention span isn't the best, so I thought it would be a great idea to play Minecraft as we listened along. Let that be a testament to how little I really knew about what I was going to experience over the next 6.5 hours.
But we might as well get round to it because we've got 6.5 hours ahead of us. So to anyone watching, stop spamming Marcel. Stop spamming chat. Yeah, basically what's going to happen is we're going to be listening to server's up by the way guys. We're going to be listening to a 6.5 hour long album called Everywhere at the End of Time by the Caretaker. Actually Sam, do you want to sort of describe what that is?
Yeah, sure. So basically, it's an album, it's a project by Leyland Kirby, who goes under the alias The Caretaker, and he wanted to kind of explore the different stages of dementia and how it kind of manifests inside the head. And it's an artistic rendition of dementia itself. So, it can be likened to the experience of having dementia in ways, is the idea. It's quite a dark and exhausting album to listen to, as you can imagine. I think after the first kind of 3 stages, when stage 4 starts, that's when it gets kind of seriously disturbing in a way.
And what better way to do that than play Minecraft whilst we listen to it?
Yeah, perfect.
And, as I had planned, we sat and played Minecraft for the majority of the live stream. However, something began to change as we played and listened. I realised after a couple of hours that I was playing aimlessly, unsure of what to do. I felt as if I didn't really have the energy to engage with the game in the same way I normally would, and as you can see, I spent the last couple of hours staring at the menu screen to Minecraft. Why is this all relevant now though? There are several videos on YouTube covering the project, so why talk about it so late after its release? Because despite the release of the full soundtrack over a year ago, there has been a new wave of popularity with the project. Again, why now? For some reason, the soundtrack blew up on TikTok and spread like wildfire. It became a trend for young people like myself to listen to the full project. With all this extra attention, negative reactions were soon to follow. A number of teenagers were discrediting the project, pushing a negative agenda towards Everywhere at the End of Time on their young followers. People were using the app to spread their opinion, which isn't inherently wrong. However, many young people commenting on the project were either misinformed on the subject matter of the soundtrack, or they just didn't care. To clarify again, the project is a depiction of dementia, a mental deterioration disease caused most commonly by Alzheimer's. So you can understand why people were upset over the young people's comments on the albums which make up Everywhere at the End of Time. People took these negative comments and mocking nature and saw it as disrespectful, with them making fun of not just the album, but the disease itself and those who are affected by it. As for me, I wasn't sure on how I stood on the situation, so I decided to get some answers for myself.
So yeah, this is Everywhere at the End of Time.
So what did you think about them?
It's quite weird.
Weird?
I'm not in the sense it was bad. Wasn't what I was expecting.
It was very weird because at times there were a lot of different noises at the same time, and at one point it just completely cut and it was just one noise.
How was that then?
Yeah, I'm not really sure how to explain that. Weird. Very, well, I say not.
It's alright, you can say.
It wasn't what I expected it to be.
Mm-hmm.
As in, when you said I'd listen to a piece of music, it was music just mixed with like noises. I heard more noise than I heard. It actually set my Twitch off.
Oh really?
So it had some like effect on me, like the noises and stuff were like.
So there's been quite a lot of hate surrounding this from places like TikTok, particularly among people like us, teenagers, saying, oh, it's just old people's music, oh, it's rubbish, it's not emotional, it doesn't have meaning. How do you feel about that?
Well, that's not obviously. Because considering like 3/4 of it is the breakdown, isn't it? So it's not like it's more just different sounds, then, isn't it? Instead of just music. And I mean, you can still enjoy like old people music at any age, really. So obviously, no, I don't agree with that.
Diseases and mental disorders and mental health shouldn't be made fun of and shouldn't just be brushed aside because it's, oh, something that's happened, but we shouldn't talk about it. We don't talk about it. And people making fun of the dementia, this, or just brushing it off just it's not right.
I wouldn't agree it's an old people music, I don't think. I think it's based on the elderly.
Do you think it's right for people to take the mickey out of it if they don't understand it?
No, I think the problem is I did it at one point. I'll be honest, I was a bit like, yeah, well, it's just a bit of music, and it kind of, you can't. I listened to that and went, oh, okay, I was wrong. So I think, especially the subject, it's not right to go, this is old people's music. It's like, hang on, let's listen to it first, then make your judgment. If I listened to it and then said something, fair enough, I'd seen it. But you have to experience it first to then make your judgment, I think, or your decision, even.
In 3 words, how would you describe it?
Unique, I'd definitely say it's quite unique. I can't really think of anything. I'd say it's quite eye-opening as well. Once you know what it's about, you can experience it for yourself, and it's kind of like you're more aware about something like that, I'd say.
Intense, I would say. It was quite a lot to comprehend in only 6 minutes. Obviously, the 6-hour one is obviously longer, but it was a lot of, not information, but just a lot of noise in such little short of time.
Different. It's not typical music. When you started listening to some music, I thought it'd be instruments, and that sounded like somebody had got a set of records, had done that, and then pieced them back together. So I call it probably deconstructed. And emotional, definitely emotional. Even I only watched 6 minutes of it, 6.5 minutes. The whole thing's 6 hours long, you said, and even I kind of come away from that going, okay, that hurts.
God.
That's the end.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I definitely cried at the end there.
Me too.
Oh man, oh, my glasses are all bloody messed up.
Mine are just steamed.
Oh, Jesus. Oh my God.
Well, that was an experience.
Ah, that certainly was. Oh my goodness me.
I mean, it's one of those things you can't exactly say you enjoyed it in the sense of, oh yeah, it was really good fun. How would you describe how you feel about it and how you felt about it afterwards?
Well, I think it was beautiful, but I don't think I couldn't do it again. But I feel like it was actually quite important to listen to, really. It made me quite introspective for a couple of weeks. It actually kind of helped, to be honest. I wasn't doing too well to begin with before I listened to it, so I'm not really sure if that was a great idea to listen to it in the first place, but looking back on it, I think it actually helped, kind of.
People are entitled to have their own opinion on the controversy. There still seems to be an Everywhere at the End of Time versus TikTok battle going on in a small corner of the app. But I'm going to give my own take on the situation. After having experienced the soundtrack for myself and seeing the effects that it's had on me, Marcel, Sam, and all the other people I've talked to about it, I'm confident that Everywhere at the End of Time is not an album you can just sit and listen to without feeling anything. In fact, as Marcel said, it's crystallized empathy. I believe that if you truly understand what this album represents, you cannot discredit its message. With these TikToks that have been surfacing around Everywhere at the End of Time, I don't think that they're making fun of the message that it's trying to portray. I simply think people are just voicing their opinion on the sound. I've seen a lot of people on TikTok discredit it as just old people's music or it's just noises, to which I say, whatever. But here's my final opinion. If you have the voice to talk about dementia and raise awareness for it, and you use that same voice to bring down something that does raise awareness for it, I think you should seriously rethink what you're saying about the project, and maybe your criticisms could have an effect on the message that it's trying to get out to people. I encourage you, if you have the ability, the empathy, and the time to listen to the full album, please do it. And similarly, encourage more people to listen to it as well. Even if you don't like the music and you hate the sound and how it all comes together, that's fine. No one expects you to enjoy it. But it's important that you understand it. That's why it's here. Not to be the next chart topper, not to be the next Grammy award-winning piece, but to help people understand. That is all you really need to know about Everywhere at the End of Time.
Everywhere at the End of Time does something that I've never experienced in anything ever before, in music form at least. And that is to show... It's a song, it's one long song really, that is almost crystallized empathy. There is... It does nothing... If it does nothing else, it shows empathy for all these millions of people who've had to deal with this terrible disease. And I'm grateful that I've been able to experience it, to be honest.